What's up guys, it's me Jeremy, and as usual it's that time of the month again, time for the new patch, and I'll be giving you my rundown and analysis of all of the major changes that took place. Let's get started. First off, Aatrox has had the cooldown of his passive significantly reduced as it scales up with his level. This change is actually quite a big buff in my eyes, since his dependence on his passive tended to be quite significant, and so the lowered cooldown will give him a lot more uptime in terms of being able to fight and make plays, which is great for him, and I think we'll start seeing him appear more in some team compositions. Ashe also received a pretty big nerf in that her volley does a lot less damage, especially at early ranks, and the vision radius of her hawkshot was reduced. The volley nerf is actually pretty big, since Ashe's early laning phase was already quite weak, and now that the volley does a lot less damage, she can easily get wrecked by lane bully champions. In addition, the hawkshot change nerfs her utility a lot, and makes it harder to use the global range effectively, and have much more of a focus on where the hawkshot ends, meaning it's a lot more important to aim it properly now. However, her utility is still super awesome, and so I think we can still expect to see her played quite a bit. In addition, Caitlyn's passive now ignores 50% of the target's bonus armor, and her ultimate now gives vision of the target. These buffs for Caitlyn are awesome, and are pretty much exactly what she needed, since Caitlyn would have a tough time killing tanks in the late game if she wasn't ahead, since her kit didn't really scale her damage up, and the ultimate change should help a lot too, and since she's quite a lane bully, Caitlyn should definitely become a strong option after this buff. Echo also received somewhat of a minor nerf in reduced movement speed and increased mana cost on his W, and increased visibility on his W and ultimate for his opponents. Overall, I don't really think Echo is too overpowered, he just has somewhat of an overloaded kit, so these changes should help tone him down just a bit. And he does have some more nerfs coming in the next patch on the PvE as well, so he should hopefully no longer be a permabanned champion after these changes. Jace also received a major overhaul. He no longer has to put points into his ultimate, and his skills now can rank up to 6 instead of 5. Overall, it increases the power of his Gate Shock Blast combo quite a bit, and gives him a bit more damage as a whole. It's definitely a nice buff, but I don't think it's too over the top, and should put Jace in a strong spot in this next patch. Katarina's Shunpo now deals less damage and scales worse with AP. It's a decent sized nerf actually, since every point of damage Katarina can get is pretty important, since you never know when it's going to be the difference between finishing off a target and getting a reset, or having them live with just a tiny sliver of HP. However, she will definitely still be strong, and as always will still be a strong solo queue champion. LeBlanc has also had the speed of her W and ulted form of her W, as well as the hitbox of her chain and ulted form of her chain reduced, while also making it a tiny bit easier to break the chain. This should make her kit as a whole easier to dodge and outplay without reducing any inherent power, so it's actually a pretty awesome change for the assassin playstyle that she has, and should tone her down just a tiny bit. Malphite's W now gives him bonus armor as a passive instead of AoE auto attacks, and the active now gives him quite a lot of bonus physical damage on his auto attacks. It's a strong change and makes him deal a lot of damage actually, while still keeping him pretty tanky. I'd like to see him still get some reduced mana costs, but this change makes him much more threatening when he's just by himself, which is something he really needed and should make him quite strong. Ryze has had a bug fix so that he can no longer stack his passive on a dying target to use no mana or cooldowns. This change actually isn't too crazy and doesn't really matter that much, but I wanted to bring it up since the key thing is that Ryze hasn't really been nerfed at all in this patch. His perma root when his W is maxed is still completely in the game, and he's still crazy powerful when he's in his passive. Sejuani has had the percent maximum health of her W nerfed quite significantly. This should help her focus more on being a utility tank rather than just an OP mega tank that does some damage. She's definitely still going to be good and is a great solo queue champion since her mechanics are fairly easy. Shen received a pretty big buff in increased based magic resistance, as well as now getting 1.25 magic resist per level, and a lowered cooldown on his passive, and a lowered energy cost on his taunt as it scales up. These were some kind of minor changes, but they're going to help Shen out a lot, since it really helps his kid out a bit in terms of improving his strengths, which is pretty much what he needed, and so we can expect to start to see some more Shen being played. Shyvana's W now gives her 25% of the AoE damage as bonus damage on her auto attacks. It's not too big of a change, but Shyvana is already one of the bruisers who's fairly tanky but does a lot of damage. So this added damage to her kit is going to give her things like more lane harass and stronger jungle clears, and helps her early game out quite a lot to where she's going to likely see some more play. And now onto the item changes. Luden's Echo now scales up stacks much faster but does less damage. This should help sustain DPS champions a decent amount while nerfing burst damage combos, but overall still keeps the item fairly strong. And that just about covers it. Any changes not mentioned in this video were considered to be minor and insignificant.
Hey guys, it's me, Jeremy. Thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, definitely make sure to hit that like button so I can tell, as well as you can check me out on Facebook and Twitter at Gaming Curios. And check me out on Twitch too, I do weekly streams. And if you really enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, as well as you can check out some of my other content up above. Anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.